You got them down tonight. So anyway.
I'd like to start the tourism committee for September 23rd. And the first order of business is a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting for July 21st. Okay, Supervisor Turner. And second. Questions about the minutes? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, we'll have privilege of the floor and public comment. Anybody wish to speak? Gina?
Hi, Gina Minzer with the Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce and CVB. I just wanted to do a huge shout out to the tourism department and our CVB, our partnership. We had a major tourism conference here a couple weeks ago with over 200 of our colleagues from around the state. We welcomed them. All of our staff were involved, both staff groups. Megan Sealy, our marketing director, along with Casey and everybody provided information for that conference to make sure that it was really healthy, attended by folks all around the state. Close to 50% of the people that came had never been to Lake George. They were all taking pictures of themselves all around the destination. They played golf. Some were on the floating classroom on Lake George. Some were on a whole immersion tour in Lake Luzerne from Nettle Meadow to the Adirondack Folk School in Revrail. We had them all out on a dine around on Wednesday night. They were everywhere from Bistro LaRue to Antonio's to all around Lake George up to Kate's and Bolton. I mean, it was a really well done conference, and it was all to do with both of the teams working together to bring this here. It took about a year for us to bring that here. We bid on it because it rotates from around the state. And really because of Heather's presence on their membership committee and other pieces and her involvement in ISTEA, it really, people came because of our teams. You know, they want to be here with us. So just want to do that shout out. We don't always hear about that. So we just wanted to make sure everybody knew that, because it takes a lot of our time and effort away from our other daily activities, but it was really well worth it for us to show off Lake George as we did. So thanks.
Would anyone else like to speak for privilege of the floor? No? Okay, we'll move on to our action items. Heather, if you'd like to go over that.
So we put out an RFP for our 2026 travel guide production costs. This is for the printing and delivery of our travel guide, our 2026 travel guide. This will come out of the 2026 budget. So it's just approving and awarding the contract to Freeport Press. They were the lowest and the most responsible bidder, excuse me.
We just need to bring this motion to the floor before we have discussion. Okay, Supervisor Turner, Supervisor Lane. Does anyone have any questions or?
I have nothing else to add.
Anything else to add? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Approved. Move on to the discussion items for the budget presentation.
Very good. So I'm just going to talk very quickly about the successes of this year, which was, as many of you saw in the board meeting last week, we launched a new campaign that we're very excited for. So that is definitely one of our successes. And currently to date, we're at, going to steal a little bit of Christine's thunder a little earlier, but currently not to date, but currently since the last report, we're 7% increase versus a year ago. So those are some successes in the tourism department, and also really working with my team to make sure that they have the tools they need to continue to be good stewards of the Lake George area and to represent it as a destination for visitors to come. Some of our goals for next year is to continue to push this destination, to really look and to ensure that we are driving the traffic to our sites, as well as pivoting and changing with continued change that happens in the travel and tourism industry and the way that visitors choose to travel. So those are some successes and goals. So I want to take everybody to page 5 of the contract, or excuse me, of the agenda. This is the Warren County budget. As all of you are aware, our majority of our funds come from the occupancy tax. And therefore, this is a $3 million budget, of which, and looking on to the next page, page 6 of the agenda, of which 2.919 million is coming from occupancy tax. The remainder is coming from matching funds, which we receive a match from the state, and then sales of travel guide ads, newsletter, co-ops, and so on. So, and to refresh everyone's memory, this budget covers everything from A to Z that our office does. Staffing, equipment, contractual expenses, so on and so forth. So if I could take you to page 7, down on the bottom, you see the contractual expenses here. And we've got office supplies at 4,300, and these are just business cards if we need any, printing expenses, office supplies. Moving down to 423, which is telephone, that's this cell phone that we have. We reduced that budget a little bit from last year. The reason being is we haven't used a lot of those funds. We have one phone that we utilize in the office. Or I should say one phone from a cell phone perspective, excuse me. Going down to postage, 19,000. And so postage is number 424, and that's our mailing, our Federal Express, and our first class mailings. This is to get out, the majority of those costs is for travel guides distribution. Moving on to 426 with the subscriptions, this is 68,000. So we have Benchmark, which is our email subscriber. We have Rove, who is our analytics provider. Adobe, Business Review, CoStar, which is the AirDNA, STR data, the new STR name, should I say. Vimeo, Google, Isuzu, excuse me, is what is, I know you'd make me laugh, sorry.
Nope.
That is how our travel guide is viewed on our website. And then Microsoft 365, this is each of the departments are now, and maybe it could be different in the past, but this is the fee for my departments to be connected to Microsoft Office. So that total is $68,058. Looking at 428, this is data processing and internal fees. And this is just basically the IT support and the pieces, from IT, which is domain renewals and ports. Looking next at 444, this is travel, education, and conferences. We just basically rolled over those dollars. We're going to continue to attend a lot of the same events. Actually, this year we spent less. Originally, a couple of staff were going to go to a U.S. Travels convention, which is a training session, and the timing just didn't work this year. So we're going to attempt to go to that. That's ESTO. It's an educational training that brings various destinations together. So that's the travel and education conference. That's line 444. Next is contracts with 470. The next two lines are our biggest lines. So I direct you down to the comments underneath that, and I'm just going to go through this. Brochure distribution is about 15,000. Simple View, and this is us partnering with various locations throughout the Northeast to distribute our travel guide to future vacationers. Simple View, that is who our website is through. We have increased this for a couple of reasons. One is we're going to add a little bit of bells and whistles to this. We've got to update our site based on our new campaign. And then it also includes an ADA plugin per se into the program. Rooted Rock, they are our SEO partner. They basically help us to be searched and be found, both via AI and search engine optimization. Synergy Creative, this is our creative agency that does our video production as well as creative design. Travel guide printing, this was a budget line before we received the other dollars, so we had estimated 100,000 as you all just approved. It's now at the $92,000 level. Moving on to famous destinations, they do our they do different distribution outlets for us in various levels of trade shows, Then we have New York Welcomes You. We get a feature on a wrap that he has that drives all across the Northeast and up and down. We have 2 panels on that, as well as included in a brochure that he distributes. And then some additional marketing pieces. The next piece is Rove. They're in 2 different because the subscriptions that we pay in the subscription line is that of the data that we buy. Some of it is purchased through Rove, through a partnership through New York State Destinations. This fee is for the platform as well as the reporting that we receive from their services. And then the other piece is $50,000, which is a match for matching funds into the region for marketing. So that's 470, which are contracts. Then we have the line 481, which is tourism promotions. So this is $150,000 in print. This has sort of been an adopted name of print. Really what it is, it's $150,000 to do various marketing efforts. Some are through printed magazines, New York Family in New York City, some through newspaper and digital ad placements like the Republican publication in Massachusetts, and various programs that we do internationally. So that's a line item that supports those particular programs that we do with various paid media outlets outside of what we do with Ad Workshop, which there are media buyer. They received the RFP award earlier this year. Moving on to digital and social, Casey and her team run their own digital and promotional ads throughout the year on various platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and so on. Promotional items, this could be, various giveaways. We did a larger buy this year, so this line is just a lot lower than last year, and it's just to suffice if we run out of different pieces like branded pens or stickers or things like that to give away at shows. We have a petty cash line. This next one, don't read it for what it says. I'll explain it. It's Wine Wonder and Wonders of New York State. It's a marketing agency representing of multiple destinations across the New York State. It was designed and developed to increase international travel from New York City to upstate New York. So it's a partnership program amongst large destinations like the Finger Lakes, Niagara Falls, Hudson Valley, and they come together to market themselves internationally. So for $15,000, we get in front of 5 different countries and all of their through all their marketing efforts to travel trade and travel agents in those countries. Reusable bags, we are due this year to print more bags. These bags are used in multiple ways as giveaways at events. Bigger user, we give them out to event coordinators to utilize at their events. We give it to specifically at Maple Days, we give it to all of the businesses up there to utilize as shopping bags when people buy items from them, so on and so forth. And then this year, our fishing and boating map is due to be reprinted. We're running out of copies. So we are redesigning that. And then just reaching out to all of the businesses that have touched that to kind of get some feedback if anything is needing to be updated or taken off. The staff will be doing a lot of that. And then we'll be producing it and printing more copies. So those are the 481, the tourism promotions with the contracts. Then you have employee benefits. Moving on to page 8. You have different expenses for the benefits, and then you've got additional benefits. So overall, the tourism budget is recommending a request of $3,029,148. And let me just, so there's a couple of things in here from a salary perspective. Everything is staying the same minus, and we all knew this, Lisa Grant did retire at the beginning of this year. We have hired a full-time staff member and therefore do not need that position any longer. So that we have completed the information to remove that line from our line item, but then also increase our overtime from 1,000 to 2,000. A lot of that has to do with our outreach and getting our staff in at various events throughout Warren County. And for that, we either offer in specific times overtime or comp time, depending upon the budget that we have. And I believe that is the last piece of business for that budget, and I'll take any questions.
Supervisor Strong?
Yeah, thank you. Heather, Rove is down twice. I mean, it's down for 50 grand in subscriptions and then it's down for 32 grand in contract.
So the subscriptions line is that of just subscriptions. So we buy mobile data, we buy Visa data, we buy what is AirDNA, which is the basically the short-term rental data that provides us with the information on how much the ADR, the revenue, RevPAR, things like that. We also have the STR data, which comes under CoStar, so that's separate, but it's another data set that we purchase. We've also purchased 2 other pieces, which is a ratings and review. So it basically tells us how well we are competitively against other destinations based on feedback from visitors. So it's kind of like those Yelp reviews, those different review sources. So there's like 5 or 6 different data sources that we subscribe to. So those are sort of, I don't want to say pass-throughs, but we purchase that data through Rove because they are the provider of those particular data.
Yeah, is that the 32,000 one?
That is the 50, let me look under the subscription line, which
50,000.
is, yes, the 426. That is the 50,000, correct. And then the other piece is for not only the dashboard, but the ability to take those pieces and upload it into the dashboard, as well as provide us with quarterly analysis that we report out at the tourism meeting.
So they're different contracts, really.
They are different contracts, which is why, and we actually have 2 separate contracts for them. Yes.
Okay.
Good question, and thank you, because I had a feeling it was a little difficult to understand, and
Yeah, thank you.
you're very welcome.
Any other questions for Heather?
I just had, so we're basing this on 8.3 million, right? 2.9 will go into tourism and
Yeah,
5.3
so let me take a step back, because
Okay.
you're occupancy tax chair, so you know, you keep killing my thunder, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
No, just teasing.
Well-
So in order to come up with the tourism department is funded completely 100% under occupancy tax. And so what we have done, like many other departments do with their budget, we took the year 2024 and we added 2% to that. And that's where we get the overall budget. But because there are 2 separate budgets here, we present the tourism budget, which is the 3.3. But as I mentioned before, coming from page 6, we take 2.9 million from that occupancy tax, because we have other revenue sources in tourism. They're not a lot, but they are other revenue sources. So then that 2.9 comes from the occupancy tax overall line item, and many of you do not have this in your packet, I'm sorry, which is an $8.3 million budget. So 5.3 is going to come from, is going to talk about the occupancy tax programs that we fund. And then the 2.9 is going to go to tourism to help support the tourism projects and programs and contracts that we just presented here in this. But it's a great question, Vinny, because this does not come from the general fund.
Right.
This is funded 100% by occupancy tax revenue. And this year, we're working off of an $8.3 million budget. And again, being consistent with other departments, that's a 2% increase from 2024. And we will move forward, we will act accordingly going forward when we build out budgets in the future, go back 2 years plus 2%.
Are there further questions for Heather before we move on to privilege of the floor? Is there anyone in the public or board of supervisors that would like to speak? And then we will move on to a motion to adjourn.
Favors?